Is it possible to have an important win 5 games into the season? That plus Josh Minott, does he have sticking power in Boston? It's right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Beantown, be ever ready. It's the C's. Who else could it be? What they gon' say now? Screaming like JT, Karalis. We kept the madness every game, every practice. Prime time, Deb and D White on the sideline. Raining J's, how it started, raising business, how we finished. Locked On Celtics pod, home of the winners.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every day, and I'm here for you every day talking about your team, the Boston Celtics, Monday through Friday. Hey, they're playing twice in the weekend, bonus podcast Friday, Saturday, so you have 13 straight days of podcasts. They're all free and available everywhere. They're on YouTube too, so go check those out, watch them, get into the comment section, become an everydayer. Be with me every day, Monday through Friday, as I talk about the Celtics. I'm John Karalis, beat writer for Boston Sports Journal. I've written a couple of books about the team, and I've been doing this job for about 20 years now. So, yeah, I like talking about the team. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head to FanDuel.com today, right now, or when we're done with this, to get started. Later on, we'll talk to Neemias Queta because he's been pretty good. We'll talk about Josh Minott. Is he just an absolute steal, a find? It's interesting. You know, a lot of people are saying, thank you, Minnesota. It's an interesting kind of path for him. But it was an important win to beat the Cavs. That's something that Tom Westerholm contends. Tom, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. This is the Halloween episode. We didn't come up with like spooky versions of our names like the Simpsons did on their show. Like, it was just like, I don't know what your Tom Westerholm doesn't lend itself to, you know, neither does mine. I don't know. I got no spooky names for us. I got Spooky Frame. I can do this on YouTube. I can do like a candy border. I could do like that stuff. That's not annoying at all. How about some? Ooh,
there you go.
Man.
You got a favorite spooky movie for the people?
I'm not a horror movie guy. Not a spooky movie guy. It's just not my thing. So
I just watched Late Night with the Devil. If anybody's seen that one, great movie. Really great, like genuinely great movie.
My wife is watching House of Wax. She loves that stuff. I'm like, oh, you babe, I'm gonna fire up the PS5.
Get her Shudder, man. It's a great streaming service. Got all kinds of scary movies, real fun.
Yeah, she's down with that stuff. Not scary for the Boston Celtics after the win over the Cavs. There's a big celebration there. Everybody gets treats. I'm done with it. I'm done with the puns. The win over the Cavs. We were talking about it before we started recording. I think you made the point, and I agree. It is already kind of an important win because as we were talking about these segments, we've talked about this on the show before. The first 7 games is like an early kind of like just grind.
Gauntlet.
Yeah. And we're like, okay, 0-7, 1-6, 2-5. You're like, okay, well, you've already got the 2 wins. And then there's that 4-game stretch. You're like, hey, Celtics can go 3-1. That's possible here.
Yeah.
So the Philly game becomes kind of important just to shape the future of the season. You know, I was talking to somebody before the game, a scout. He was like, do you think the Celtics would just start losing? I think it depends on how they get through these first like 11 games. If they're 5-6, 6-5, then no, I think they just continue pressing on. If they somehow end up 2-9, then you have to, because at that point, making it up and getting to 44 wins, 45 wins gets really, really tough. But this win over the Cavs puts you squarely in. No, let's go for it. Let's make this playoff run.
Yeah. And I mean, I know it's like, it's early, right? And like, so much is going to happen this season. You know, injuries are going to happen. Things are going to happen. Like it's an NBA season. It's very, very early. But I think like this team specifically, it matters to start. You don't have to start like super well. You don't have to like prove a point and come out and be like 5-2 or something. Like you don't have to do that. but you do have to like come out and like you have to not dig yourself a hole. Like we've talked about that a lot, and it's really important to not do that. And I mean, they were on the verge of doing that, right? Like it like that losing to the Pistons. We talked about how pivotal that Pistons game felt. It was like, man, you kind of needed to get that one if you could, and especially when you lose that opening game to the Sixers, where it's like, it was right there. Like you could have just gotten, it could have been 1-0. Like that would have mattered, So then to bounce back, and obviously it's understandable to lose those games because one, Edgecombe and Maxey went off like that. Yeah, of course. Two, like the Pistons had a lot of rebounders. Like that was always going to be a problem.
Yep.
They're not in a vacuum. None of the first 3 losses hurt you. But the fact that it was 3 in a row and you are 0-3 and all of a sudden you're looking down that barrel of like 0-7 and 1-6, and now you have to pick off a good win or two to be in a respectable position coming out of these first 7 games. Last night's game was a really good win for an early season. Cavaliers didn't play that well. Darius Garland wasn't there, all that stuff. But like, I mean, they played hard. They paid attention to details. They mitigated their problems. They made 3-pointers. They did all the things right in the way that Joe Mazzulla has been asking them to do. Yeah. And it's like, and they did that in the 5th game of the season. That's a really good sign for a group that just came together. Like I thought there was just a lot of, it was funny because I think you and I were pretty down on the Celtics' chances in that game. And I don't think that we got to that point by bad, logical, rational process. Like I think it was like pretty reasonable to be down on it. So for them to then come out and play the way they did and win the way they did was like, okay, that showed me something. Like that's good stuff.
This is not a bad team. So I think what we've seen over the first 5 games is this is not a bad basketball team. Well, some people have been saying like this is going to be a 30-win team. They are not bad.
Barring injuries, that is not a 30-win team. No.
That's right. Something's going to have to happen for them to go to 30 wins, which might, and we'll see. But like they are better than that, and it kind of falls in line with what we're saying. They are still not good enough, and I don't know if they're ever going to be good enough at all of the things they need to be to beat good teams when the good teams are playing well.
Yeah.
And I think that's a fair thing. If the Cavs continued to play well and had their full complement and Donovan Mitchell didn't disappear after the beginning of the second quarter and Evan Mobley, like all of that stuff, there's a reason why I don't think anybody pushes back when I said 30% chance to win. And this just happened to be like that, fall into that 30%. Like that's great. That's sure. But they are good enough that when a team slips or you're facing a mediocre or a bad team, you got a good chance of winning that game. And what you just said, the way you said it is, I think, on the money, where to have it happen in game 5, where enough stuff is coming together that you caught the Cavs slipping a little bit, and we'll clean it up, mess around and find out. Like the Cavs messed around a little bit, and the Celtics, they found out, and the Celtics pulled off the win.
Mess around and map it?
No, that's not going to work either. So we're like 0 for 3. We're on a Derek White slump with the spooky names, and now
that's a little unkind to us.
Look, man. I am a fair analyst here. I gotta give us the same treatment I give the players. We are struggling from the field right now. But I do think like these wins, because of the tenuous nature of this roster, the schedule, like everything, we don't know an injury. We don't know who's playing when sometimes. Getting these wins is a big deal. Getting them early is a big deal. Getting the reward.
Yeah.
Seeing the hard work pay off is such a big deal, especially for some of these guys like a Josh Minott, who we're going to get to in a second. To see, hey, you know what? I put in the work. Oh, I got the start. Oh, I'm going against Evan Mobley. I am making a difference. We won because of the stuff that I did. Like Jaylen dropping 30 is great, but like Jaylen's going to do that every night. Derek's going to figure it out Pritchard, all that.
Yeah, but even Jaylen got rewarded a little bit. If you look at like, okay, he's playing exactly the way that Joe Mazzulla wants him to play, and I really think like, Jaylen calls for a review, and Mazzulla has no idea if that's a good call. He's like, you know what? No, Jaylen is playing exactly the way I want to play. Jaylen called for the review. We're reviewing that thing, and it's like,
yes,
it's like little things. Like I think, we're seeing rewards for these guys, and we're seeing like a bunch of misfit guys all come like figuring out that's going to be so important this year is Joe Mazzulla said this a bunch. What's the best way that these guys can play together? Because there are a lot of talented players on this team. Chris Boucher didn't even play yesterday. There's a lot of talented guys on this team. And like, how can you maximize all of those guys? That's going to be a weird thing all season. But if they're doing it in game 5, like we're talking about here, that seems big to me.
That is big. Josh Minott is a big deal. Already through 5 games, an interesting ride for him. Let's talk about Josh specifically because he was so good. And I love what he was saying after the game. That's all going to come up here next. Today's show is brought to you by Robinhood. Your ambition just met its match. With Robinhood, you play for the win, not just on game day, every day. Locking in on every opening, beating your PR, beating it again, channeling that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control of your money. Trade stocks, ETFs, options, futures, and crypto, all on one platform. You can now build and execute your own trades from a desktop with Robinhood Legends advanced tools, or take advantage of the new Robinhood strategies with a tailored portfolio managed by a team of experts. You expect more from yourself, expect more from your money. Get started today at robinhood.com/yourmoney. That's robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. Today's show is also brought to you by DoorDash. The NBA season heating up. DoorDash has found the perfect way to keep fans in their bag all season long, whether you're watching for the highlights, fantasy team, or just your favorite player. DoorDash makes it easy, and every night is better. DoorDash is the official on-demand delivery platform of the NBA, and they're celebrating with something called a bag drop. Every time a player scores 50 in a game, and that's already happened a few times. So when that happens, DoorDash drops 50% off your order with Dash Pass the next day. You're automatically entered for a chance to win the ultimate fan bag as well. We're talking about player-inspired drip, exclusive gear, and stuff you'll actually want. So it's not just food. You can get anything delivered from snacks to drinks, headphones, ice, socks. I don't know if you suddenly need the socks, but hey, it's there if you want it. So DoorDash has you covered. Late night highlights, last minute watch parties, double OT fuel up. So the next time someone goes off for 50, which could be at any moment, use the promo code NBA50 the next day to get 50% off your DoorDash with Dash Pass, plus your shot at the bag drop. Dash Pass members only, 50% off, up to $10 the next day after a 50-point game with promo code. That's NBA50. Terms apply. No purchase necessary. Ends April 13th. You open to U.S. residents 21 or older. Visit DoorDashInYourBag.com for full details. DoorDash in your bag all season long. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out Locked On NBA, Locked On NBA Game Night. I'm on Game Night on Wednesdays now, covering every game in the association 7 days a week. Locked On NBA in the afternoons covers all the big stories, all the big storylines. So 2 podcasts make Locked On Celtics your first listen. Locked On NBA Game Night numbers 2 and 3. You got all your podcasting covered right there. Boom. All right, Josh Minott was very good. I went back and rewatched a lot of his defensive possessions, and he, like Joe said after the game, he gave up a couple of plays, and it's still part of the process, but he's out there. He's working hard. He picks up Evan Mobley like right away, right off the jump ball. He's right up on him. I like that he was conscious of the rebounders, the potential rebounders. He never really turned and looked at the ball. He turned and identified a rebounder and determined like, okay, he's not going. Okay, now I can turn and go for the rebound or go and touch. He did like a lot of those little things. After the game, he talks about, I love Boston. I love it here. He thanked everybody from the guys mopping up the floors to Brad Stevens. And, he's, I think, Tom, like this perfect kind of player that came in understanding the desperation, came in understanding that this is kind of like one of my last chances.
Yeah.
Saw the opportunity, seized it, and is grateful for it. This all adds up to like, hey, this is a dude that he loves it here. You love like at some point here, snap him up, sign him to a long-term deal, get him on the cheap. You know what I mean? Like he's a guy that he wants to stick around. Do it, because I see it already. Like keep him.
Yeah, there two quotes from his post game that I thought that really stuck out to me. So the first one, somebody asked him like kind of the process of learning what Joe wants, and he said, "You don't really think about it. I mean, they're not really asking for much. Just do my best to defend the other team's best player, rebound, defend, and space the floor on offense. And truthfully, after that, everything they see is a plus, right? So I like that. I like that simple basketball. When Joe Mazzulla asks you to box out, like you're saying, right? You see him. He's not looking at the ball. He's looking for somebody to go box out. He's like, okay, Joe wants me to box out. Got it. I'm going to find that guy. I'm going to stick my butt right in there. I'm going to it's great. It's great. That's and then like you said, the corner shooting, like you make threes, whatever. I mean, like, he says space the floor on offense. After that, they see everything as a plus. Like, any transition dunk, whatever, that's all a plus. Like, that's great. That's a great perspective to have. Made even better by literally his next quote in a question like, have you always seen the game that way? And he's like, I mean, we were all stars in high school. Most of us were stars in college. So coming here, you got to understand that not everybody's going to be a star, yada, yada. And like, I'm good with that. He's just said like, I'm just here to make y'all look good. Blessed to have this great group around me, and y'all see it, man. They good at basketball. Like, great quotes. Two just elite
attitude. Yeah.
I mean, that's when you put that attitude in a guy who is in this situation that he's in, where this matters a lot right now to his career. This is such an important season, and he's in a really good place, like a place where people are going to embrace him if he plays. If he embodies what he just said, people in Boston will love Josh Minott the whole time he's here. So, and I mean, I think I'm with you. I think sign this guy like this year for sure. Get him on a cheap long-term contract.
Yeah,
have him come off the bench behind. Like Jaylen's already said, this is a guy we wish we could have had last year. Like you got big sign off from your superstars already. Like no lose situation here with Josh.
Will he take like 3 for 12?
Like probably. Like, why not? That's
$4 million a year.
That's long-term security for Josh Minott. That's
Just do it. 3 for 12 right now. Boom. I'm in. Like because of the attitude, because that he gets it. Like there's just some dudes you're like, it's not that he's just like playing well for now. It's the energy that he's playing with. That's just going to be him. That attitude and all of that, it just fits. He's the exact kind of guy in this situation that works for Joe Mazzulla, that you kind of want in your locker room. And maybe it took the flame out in Minnesota for him to really hone in on the stuff that you're saying. That I get that not everybody's a star. I'm not trying to do too much. I understand that it's hard. It is hard for guys to come into the league and being like, I was so good. No one could stop me. And now everybody can stop me. Like, that's humbling. And it's hard to get there because you think I'm just going to go out and just keep doing what I do. Eventually I'll break through. You have to have, Joe talks about it all the time. You have to have the humility to be like, okay, I am not in the NBA. I'm not there. I'm here. And that means I got to do different things. So I got to humble up and not be like looking for 20 points. I just got to do this job because doing that job will make you very rich.
Yes.
Doing that job will give you 20, 30, $40 million over the course of a very nice career.
Yep.
And so are you going to be stupid and blow it? Or are you going to be smart and do the hard work and be a very rich person?
And you see, like, right, you do the hard work, you have the right attitude, and hey, you're starting after 3 games. Like, and I know there's like a special circumstance where, the team's like stars are out, all that stuff. But he's earned that starting spot. And when he got the starting spot, he scored 15 points, and then he grabbed 15 rebounds in the next game for a team that desperately needs rebounds. Like, he's doing everything right now. And I think, I think so much of it, when you make it to the NBA, you have a professional basketball player's like skill set, physical attributes, all this stuff. You have that. And like, if you just take that and then you just strip all the ego out of it and you just say, okay, this team needs X. How can I give it to them? How can I use what I have to give them what they need? And like, Josh Minott is doing that perfectly so far this season. It like really, well done, man. Like that's
happy for him, man.
Yeah,
happy for him.
I am too. Yeah.
I'm happy that I did the feature on him, that I chose him.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, all right. I identified him right away because
doesn't it feel good to identify prospects?
I love it. I love it.
Take. Yeah.
Because I saw the same thing that Jaylen Brown saw.
Yeah.
This is exactly the type of guy that you guys have needed. You've needed this guy. And now he's here. If he gets it, if he can put his head in the right place, it's there for him. It's all laid out, And I'm not saying that I have any sort of special ability to. All you got to do is look at this team, look at his attributes, and be like, "Oh yeah, this should work." Like Brad Stevens brought him in for a reason, and that's if this season ends and Minott is like the hit that you can sign for long term and take him into next year. Guess what? You found a cheap player who can accentuate Tatum and Brown in your team, and that is a successful summer of 2025.
Yep.
That, considering the circumstances, take the win, Brad Stevens. And on top of it, he has an elite 3-point celebration. I just think the why not Minott thing is perfect. Just plays into the whole persona. I'm like, yes, dude, that's it. I think it's a good one. He's just winning all the way around. He's winning all the way around. So I'm happy for him. Also happy for Neemias Queta because some people out there were doubting him. I don't know who. Couldn't be. We're just trying to find the guy who did this.
That's it. Yeah.
So Neemias Queta has been
good.
We'll
do after the break.
We'll do that after. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. NBA is back, obviously. NFL in midseason. There's no better place to get on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game, sometimes that happens. And you come in, you're like, hey, let me ride this hot hand, Jaylen Brown. FanDuel has live bets. Even though Jaylen says, don't bet on me, you can still do it on FanDuel. And it gives you everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. Keep every game exciting, especially when your team is making that late push. Right now, if you're a new customer, FanDuel will give you $300 in bonus bets if your first bet wins, your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up. When you sign up, it'll ask you to set a budget, set a limit. Please do that. We know you can do whatever you want with the money that you can afford to lose. Whatever you can afford to lose, that is your budget. FanDuel wants to keep that intact. So sign up for that. Set your budget, set your limit, gamble responsibly. Go to FanDuel.com, sign up, play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Make your second listen, maybe Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Josh Lloyd's got you covered. Who to add, who to drop, who's rising, who's not, start, bench, all that stuff that can help you win your fantasy league. Josh Lloyd's got you covered. Find him wherever you found us. Neemias Queta, Tom, 13 rebounds. He 28 rebounds for him and Josh Minott was huge. Cavs are not a big rebounding team despite their size. They came in 17th in offensive rebounding percentage. They are worse, I think, after the game because they don't crash much and hey, if you're not going to crash, Queta and Minott clean things up. And they did a good job because it's not that the Cavs don't crash. It's, they don't aggressively crash, but there are still guys you have to box out, and they did it. Queta has been pretty good. He's played pretty good defense. He's had a couple of games earlier that were like, ugh. And now he's had a stretch here. It's like, okay, good. Joe is, every time we bring up Nemi, Joe has said kind of something similar. This is great. We just need him to keep doing it. Okay. Can't do it a little bit. Got to do it all the time now. Yeah. And that's the challenge. And I think one of the best things that Joe has said about Nemi and other guys like that, it's easy to be the third string guy. You come in, either you're good or you're not, whatever. You just play like crazy. You make plays and whatever.
Yep.
It's not as easy to be the starter because you've got responsibilities. You got guys counting on you. You have to be consistent, and it's tougher. You don't get to have bad games like that because, especially with this center rotation, somebody else is going to come in and try to take that spot.
Yep.
So, Queta, to his credit, and I will stand up as much as I was joking before. I have always questioned him, and I still am like, I want to see it consistently as well. Yes. But credit where credit is due. The past few games, he's been really, really good. And if he can be this consistently, that does change a lot about the outlook of this team.
It does. Yeah. I think we've touched on this and kind of hit this around a little bit before, but it's so important when you become a real rotation player and a real starter to be consistent, to be attentive to detail. And I think that's where you see Queta struggling in the past, right? Is like that attention to detail. That's what makes Al Horford.
Yes.
That every single thing he does is just like, he's mastered this game. He's mastered what he does in this game, and he pays attention to the details, and he does the little things, and that makes him such a valuable big man. And you saw it with Kornet, right? Like a lot of stuff that Kornet does was just like detail. And that's where Queta's always been lacking. And I think that's why I had a lot of doubts about him coming into this season. It's like, like I get, great. He had a good summer. He had all this stuff. Like, he's had flashes in the past, but this is like Celtics fans have gotten used to watching a center rotation with a couple of guys who are just as precise and attentive to detail as it gets. So with Queta, my concern was just like, it's not going to look like that anymore. There's going to be a lot of problems here. And we've seen flashes of that, but I think what we've seen too is a lot more attention to detail than I expected, right? Like I didn't expect him to be as consistent as he's been on the glass. I expected way more offensive fouls on screens. I expected to see a lot of kind of the kind of BS that you saw with Queta last year.
Yeah.
And there's been less, and that matters a lot. Even if he isn't, he's not gonna be a perfect player this year. Everybody knows that. But like, if he, kind of like the rebounding, if you can mitigate the bad stuff and just kind of like make the scales even out a little bit, that matters so much on this team. And he's been doing that, and that's really good. So completely with you. I want to see it over a longer stretch here. But to me, that's the really good stuff that we've seen so far.
When we talk about detail, there's no way anybody listening or watching can understand the level of detail that NBA players in general, professional athletes in general, when we're talking about, he's in drop coverage, let's say, and he is at the foul line and he's supposed to be a step further up, and Joe will get on him about that. Like, you're here, you're supposed to be 2 steps here or 2 steps there because you're allowing this passing lane or you're taking away whatever. Like that's the stuff, those little fine tuning things. Like you said, when you bring Al Horford, such a great example, because how do you play until you're 40 without knowing angles, details, the rules, all of that stuff? And like some of the things like verticality, you can be vertical, but if you're jumping forward, you can't jump forward with your hands straight up and be vertical. That's not, so get into position first and then jump. that kind of stuff. So you can't be out of position. So you have to be aware of everything that's happening on the floor. You're responsible for everybody defensively. You're the guy in the back line. You're responsible to tell Jaylen and Derek and Peyton what's happening, because everybody they get their back to everything. They see one person in front of them. Queta and any big back there and they have to trust him to do that. So that's all the important stuff. If he's doing all of that stuff, then that's great. I still think, obviously, the Celtics need to get a center.
Yes.
And I think a best case scenario is that they find themselves a true starting center who can start 72 games for them next season. But Queta can be a legitimate backup second unit big that you can rely on. Yeah. And if that's where this goes, then I'm perfectly happy with that. But
very similar to Minott. If you've got yourself a decent, if this season helps you discover a decent backup there, great, perfect.
He still needs to work on things, obviously, and I don't want to nitpick. I've said what I need to say about him. Some of that stuff is going to show up, but I think Queta, and one of the things that there are a lot of big Queta fans out there. Like, you gotta feed the big man. Like, no, actually, like, let me take that back. Every once in a while, you do have to feed the big man, because if he's rebounding and boxing out and blocking shots, you have to give him an opportunity to touch the ball on offense and make a play, whether it's make a pass or take a shot. You have to reward him. So
1 from 3, as Queta did yesterday.
Hey, but Joe Mazzulla will live with that.
Yeah.
And it was also, I think, 6 on the shot clock. So you say, okay. But it was if the big guy is doing the work, he needs to be fed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's doing the work. Now, he's not prime Shaq. So you're not going to dump it into him and let him go to work in the post 10 times, because you still have Jaylen and Derek and Peyton and Anthony Simons and all those guys. Those are your scorers. So, like, it doesn't matter how talented Queta is or what he's quote unquote capable of. We just went through the whole thing with Josh Minott. It doesn't matter what you are capable of. What is your job here? And if the Celtics decide that they want to dump it into Queta for 10 post-ups, that's going to be a bad basketball team. So that's not what they should be doing. But it doesn't mean you don't feed him. I understand that you got to give him a couple of looks, a couple of tastes, so he can go back down there and be happy doing all the dirty work. Because everybody on a basketball team wants to score.
It turns out, yeah.
Everybody wants a bucket, man. Everybody wants a bucket. And you can sit there.
And always has been about buckets. Bill Russell. Tom Westerholm.
Nice reference. So yes, feed the big man every once in a while, but he just has to be aware of the details. So, but shout out to him, man. This has been good. We're gonna go long. If I ask this question, I'm gonna ask it anyway. Like, let's be quick. Can we say the Celtics are ahead of schedule? Is it too much to say that, or are they is it on schedule?
I think it's too soon to say that. I think you're a little, but I think that another good win, I think that we're close to being able to say that. I don't think you're too far out on a limb. I want to see a win against the Sixers or the Rockets, and then I would love to see them go 3-1 over that next stretch. If we see that, I think then you're really okay, this team is ahead of schedule. And
5 and 6 or 6-5 after the 11. 6-5, especially, obviously. 6-5. If they're 6-5 after those 11 games, then I'm already being like, hey, Joe Mazzulla, coach of the year. You know what I mean? Let's start getting these accolades out there. But no, seriously, if they are 6-5, then I think we can say they are a little bit ahead of schedule. You'd have to be ahead of schedule to get to 6-5. So
for sure.
All right. Well, I'll let you go so you can get your costume ready for. I don't know what your costume would be. Me? Can you go as me?
You know what? My son was very disappointed that I didn't get myself a costume this year, and I watched through Spirit Halloween and I saw nothing that didn't make me kind of go like that. I'm good. So yeah.
There's a point where like it's past dressing up time.
It's I've reached it.
Unless I can get like a legitimate Darth Vader costume. Like if I can dress up, I will dress up as Darth Vader and walk through the neighborhood. If I can get one of those like voice modulators, just give me that.
If you found a good if you found a good one of those, I mean, does that turn you into then Ben Wyatt, dressing as Batman in Parks and Rec? Is that the
I don't know the reference.
Never mind. All right.
Sorry.
We're 0 for 5, 0 for 6.
I'm telling you, man, we're so cold.
Cold.
It's because our roles have changed. Actually, they haven't changed. They're the exact same.
Pretty much the same.
Just a slump. It's just a slump.
Stink. That's it.
It just stink right now. Just horrible. Ugh. All right, get out of here, Tom.
All right, man. Appreciate you anyway.
I always appreciate you, Tom. I always appreciate you listening, watching, bearing with our shenanigans here on the podcast. Happy Friday. Happy Halloween. Heading into November. Woo. Clocks fall back. It's going to start getting dark at 4 p.m. It's going to get tough. It's going to get tough out there. So you know what you do? You light a fire, you pour yourself a glass of wine, and you turn on the Locked On Celtics podcast to get you through the winter. Because I'll be here for you 5 days a week. Bonus podcasts on the weekends when they play, like this weekend, tomorrow night against Philly, post-game podcast. Then Saturday night against Houston, post-game podcast. So make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcasts. Watch the show on YouTube. Get into the comment section, of course, and share the podcast. Tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.